Authority. This is your Forecast First.
Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Brett Scott here with your KSN Forecast First. Wesco Home Furnishings Tower Cam. We got a little bit of fog development out there across the city of Joplin. We've seen that take place this evening, likely due to the fact we've got cooling temperatures, and we've actually seen essentially clearer skies across a good portion of the area. Most of the low clouds are primarily to our south and east, but still we've had fog development, so we've seen temperatures cooling into the 30s in several locations and still in the 40s in especially locations further to the south. But because we're seeing this essentially trend downward to those dew points, seeing saturation, and because we got calmer winds, we're seeing fog development out ahead of the front, which is expected to move through and bring us even colder temperatures, starting out around the freezing point by tomorrow morning and only warming up into the 40s by the afternoon. Over to you, Jessica.
Brett, thanks so much. Fire officials now still investigating a house fire in Commerce and recent technology upgrades at the Joplin Police Department aiming to keep the city safer. Plus, a national milestone for the U.S. Postal Service happened right here in our own backyard today. Your KSN 16 local news at 10 starts now.
This is KSN 16, your local news at 10. With Jessica Shear, Jeremiah Cook, and meteorologist Brett Scott.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. The investigation continues into a house fire in Commerce this evening. When firefighters arrived in the 400 block of North Elm just after 1:30 this afternoon, Quapaw Nation Fire Chief Sammy Freeman says the house was fully involved. He also said a back wall did appear to be blown out, likely indicating an explosion took place, but the investigation will make that final determination. One person was also inside at the time, but Freeman refrained from speaking any further on any injuries, saying the fire marshal will release that information after the investigation. But he does credit the responding crews for putting the fire out so quickly and making sure there were no further injuries.
Quapaw Nation, Commerce Volunteer Department, and Quapaw Volunteer Department. And these guys done an outstanding job, made a fantastic stop on the house. Upon arrival, like I said, it was fully involved.
The fire marshal now taking over the investigation. The Crawford County Sheriff's Office is investigating a house fire where a woman was found dead. Crews responded to 389 South 190th Street near Pittsburgh just after 7 Saturday morning for a report of a house fire. Once inside the home, they found a woman dead. Her body has been transported to Kansas City for an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Authorities are not releasing her name, though, until a positive identification can be made. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. A wide-ranging tech upgrade is helping Joplin police to keep the city safe more quickly and efficiently. Gretchen Bolander reports.
The Joplin Police Department is working on an upgrade that touches on just about every aspect of city law enforcement.
Dispatching center, CAD, mobile CAD, which is what our officers use out on the vehicles, jail records, administration, investigations, so it covers every area of the department.
The new system is called ProSuite and generally deals with computer-aided dispatch and the records management system. It streamlines processes that had been glitchy, things like court access.
Everyone had to transition to Missouri courts. At that point, our electronic citation module was not functional with our old system, so we had to seek out an additional vendor to provide that patchwork until we got a new system up and running.
The new system integrated 600,000 name records from the last 30 years. It also streamlined evidence storage for easier access to videos, still images, and audio recordings.
Recently, we've had to burn those files onto disks or thumb drives and then make copies for requests from attorneys, from prosecuted. So those practices are a little more streamlined now. Now it involves a link, and the evidence is up in the cloud.
ProSuite went live at JPD earlier this year. They are still working on the final fix, which will allow 911 calls to transfer seamlessly between the Joplin, Jasper County, and Newton County dispatch systems. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Gretchen Bolander.
An interim sheriff has been appointed in Delaware County. It is Ray Thomas, the current sheriff-elect for the county. Thomas defeated now former Sheriff James Beck in an election this past June by 559 votes. Beck resigned, though, as sheriff last week due to personal reasons. County officials say today's appointment for Thomas will run through the remainder of Beck's term. Thomas will then undergo a second oath of office in January. An I-44 bridge project is on hold until the spring now. MoDOT has halted the rehabilitation of the bridge on I-44 near exit 6 until spring, and that means both westbound I-44 lanes will be open to traffic near Main Street in Joplin. The median crossovers will be closed, and the eastbound and westbound on-ramps at the exit will remain closed. However, both I-44 off-ramps at exit 6 will stay open. The speed limit in that area is 60 miles an hour. A Southwest Missouri town known as Christmas City is chosen for a major milestone delivery. KSN 16's Dustin Latimer tells us more about the special holiday moment.
Special delivery.
A package with a special number arrived at the post office in Knoll, or rather during this time of the year, Noel.
This is a magical day. The Postal Service is projecting to deliver its 5 billionth mail piece today here, and we're going to do it right here in the Christmas city of Noel, Missouri.
On Black Friday, the U.S. Postal Service began its annual count of holiday mail.
What happens, all the letters, cards, packages that go through our mail processing machines, they're all counted and calibrated. At the end of the day, that information's downloaded, and it's a continual clicker updating that information, and we're up to 5 billion today.
Once it arrived at the Noel Post Office, holiday package number 5 billion did not have far to travel.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Its destination was just across the street at National TV Sales and Rental, where it was hand-delivered to Assistant Manager Kathy Ramirez.
I'm excited to open it because, I really don't know what it is, but I'm excited. Maybe it's a big old, that check in there.
Regardless of what it might be, Ramirez says she'll wait until Christmas Day to open the package.
It's just a blessing. Honestly, it is. It really is.
Last year, the USPS delivered billions of pieces of holiday mail by December 25th.
That is a lot of mail. Those guys work hard. I will say that.
Last year we had about 12 billion holiday mail pieces, and we're looking to maybe exceed that this year, so we're excited about that.
Postal workers only have a few billion to go before Christmas.
Let's get those things in the mail. We're already up to 5 billion right now, so let's keep it going. You can relax and enjoy your holiday.
Reporting in Noel, I'm Dustin Latimer.
All right, let's talk about some weather now. Meteorologist Brett Scott joins us with a look at our forecast. If you've been outside it all this evening driving around, you may notice some places totally fine, other places very thick fog out there.
Yes, definitely the definition of patchy fog. Not everywhere, but where it is quite dense. It's essentially out ahead of a front that's going to be moving through, and we'll continue to see that before the front moves through, and then we're going to cool off quite rapidly. More details on that coming up next. Here's your almanac.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters, this is KSN 16, your local news at 10. And now, from the KSN 16 Freeman Live First Alert Doppler Storm Center, weather with meteorologist Brett Scott.
Hello everyone and good Monday evening. Wesco Home Furnishings Tower Cam still showing a little bit of fog out there across the city of Joplin. It seemed a bit thicker earlier, but it is rather patchy. And we do have a little bit of some wind at the surface, so that could be moving it around. And of course, still anticipating the approach of the frontal boundary that is off to the north and west. As you can see, low clouds still permeating, especially in a more south and eastern regions. Got a little bit of that patchy fog development out ahead of the feature that we anticipate. And as you can see on the Freeman First Alert Doppler, quite a bit of cooling taking place, especially in portions of southwest Missouri and southeast Kansas into the 30s, which is likely helping out that fog. We saw the erosion of that cloud cover. It allowed for clear skies, and because these temperatures fell to their saturation, likely led to the development of that fog. And as you can see, winds only about 5 to 10 out of the north. We've got stronger winds off to the north and west behind that frontal system. But as you can see, we're starting to see more dry air filter in to the area. So we've got dew points well into the 30s, but still close to saturation in locations that have cooled more efficiently and allow for that fog development, but it is very dry out there in portions of southeast Kansas. Better moisture to the south and east where that cloud layer still exists, as well as the potential for that drizzle. Water vapor imagery, upper level low pressure wave is off to our north and west. It'll continue to pivot across our area through tomorrow and also into our early Wednesday. By especially later Wednesday and then into our Thursday, we're going to see the potential of more zonal flow across our area, which is just west to east flow aloft. It'll help to promote likely a bit of a warming trend, also in association with a little bit of some upper level ridging. And then we're going to be monitoring our next upper level wave be moving in from the west, especially later on this week. Essentially, we're going to see really cold air begin to filter in as the front moves through, and that's going to be the case at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, bringing in that colder air and likely being reinforced even as we head into our Wednesday, which is going to keep the cold on our area before we see a bit more of a southerly component to those winds. Should help us warm up later on this week. Right now, though, in the Freeman First Alert Doppler, we've got northerly flow across our area right now, and we are going to see a frontal boundary move through. Winds are going to pick up out of the north. Cooler air is going to move in, as well as drier conditions. That's going to last throughout the day tomorrow. By tomorrow night, there is the slight potential of a little bit of some flurries moving in association with some at least lifting mechanisms and a bit of forcing aloft. However, it's going to be very essentially dependent on how much moisture we have to support anything reaching the surface, but we're not expecting anything in the way of impacts out of that. Through to the day tomorrow, we're not going to warm up a whole lot, likely only into the low 40s by the afternoon. Winds will be picking up, like I said. Could gust in excess of 20 miles an hour at times as that northerly flow continues to move through our area, bringing that drier air. And because it's going to be breezy, watch out for those wind chills in the low 20s, especially tomorrow morning. So we're going to still be under the influence of high pressure through our Wednesday, and then as it moves off to the east by Thursday, more southerly flow will likely take place, and we should start to see a bit of a warming trend for both Thursday and Friday. And even in the next 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 days, there is a decent likelihood of some above average temperatures. Taking a look at your KSN forecast from your local weather authority. Tonight, low around 31, fog and drizzle, especially before the front moves through. And then we're going to be cold and breezy. By tomorrow, we're going to see a high around 42, cooler temperatures, and we are going to be breezy tomorrow. And we're going to continue to be cold for our Wednesday. And take a look at those overnight lows in the 20s. Watch out for those. Make sure you bundle up each morning. And then we are going to see the potential of warmer temperatures and rain chances by the end of this week. And for all the weather details you need at any time, just go to 4stateshomepage.com.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that warm up and just kind of get through tonight's fog and then potentially maybe some flurries.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Usually, climatologically, it's November when we get our first snow. Okay. We didn't get any snow, so holding out.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It won't be much, but it's
hopeful.
Of
course. No impacts expected, so you don't have to worry about that.
All right, Brett, thanks so much. Well, dozens of children will have a Merry Christmas this year, all thanks to an annual tradition in McDonald County.
Coming up, ways to help several more children still on the list.
An organization in McDonald County is working to ensure children have gifts under the tree on Christmas morning. Secret Santa of McDonald County is nearing the end of its Christmas toy drive, which started nearly 20 years ago with just one family and has since grown to include 118 children, each who have sponsors to purchase toys and necessities for them. However, there are nearly 45 who do not have a sponsor, so the program is relying on public donations.
I think that children deserve magic for as long as they can have magic, because this world takes it from them. And so the longer that they get to have it, and if that's believing in Santa Claus for that extra year when they know that times are tough and their parents can't afford it, then that's just what it is.
Dozens of drop-off boxes are set up across the county, including each of the McDonald County Library locations. Those are in Pineville, Knoll, and Southwest City. Donations can be new or gently used toys, books, clothing, and coats. All are being accepted through Monday, December 16th. And if you don't have time or the talent to wrap Christmas gifts, there is help available and you can give back at the same time. For a donation, a group of people in Carthage, part of Kenzie's Cruisers, will do the wrapping for you. It's happening for a 17th year in a row. Now, the name of the group belongs to Kenzie Chrisman, who has cystic fibrosis. Her relatives started the holiday wrapping tradition to raise money for CF research.
What you'll do is bring your gifts in, we'll sign you up, we'll put your names on them, and then we will wrap them, as you've probably seen. So, and then we'll give you a call, and you'll come up and pick them up and leave a donation.
Lodima Martin, who you just saw there, is Kenzie Chrisman's grandmother. She says Kenzie is now 19, in good health, and in college. This all takes place near the intersection of Centennial and Missouri in Carthage. Now, the group also has a Facebook page. We have a link on 4stateshomepage.com. It is a financial boost for the house that love built. Reese Nichols Real Estate donated nearly $5,000 to the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. The funding comes from their Gold Key program, where agents can opt in to donate money from the sale of a house. This check includes home sales in Neosho and Mount Vernon. It's a project that's very personal for Nina Mosier, who stayed there when her first daughter was born.
I'm so grateful that we have this here in our community, and that we are able to donate to the cause, and that it's able to continue to help families.
Our guests, by and large, we say that they can stay here for free, but we do ask for a $10 donation just to help kind of cover some of the costs. So if you take that number and divide it over $10 per room night, that's a lot of families eating a lot of meals and having a good night's sleep here at the Ronald McDonald House.
And this is the fourth year for a Gold Key donation from Reese Nichols to the Ronald McDonald House. The project also supports the house in Springfield. Missouri legislators are pre-filing bills in preparation for the next session, and one measure on the table, getting rid of state income tax. Chris Bryant spoke to the bill's sponsor.
Missouri State Representative Bishop Davidson introduced a similar bill 2 sessions ago.
A lot of that was intended to work on the bill.
So what is different?
The thing that is different about this year, 1, we've worked through more of the stakeholders. 2, we've taken the time to just comb through the legislation and refine it.
According to the Missouri Department of Revenue, a single person making $50,000 on average could see nearly $2,300 taken out of their paychecks each year for state income tax. A married couple making $100,000 could see that double to almost $4,600.
As the sports team example illustrates, it's all about recruiting and retaining personnel, getting workers into the state. And the best way to do that is to incentivize them by letting them keep more of their take-home pay.
There are 8 other states that don't have a state income tax: Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming.
Each state is different. Their economies are different. The way that they structure their taxes are different. And so we've tried to draw from other states and best practices that have occurred there, but this is very much a Missouri-tailored, Missouri-specific proposal.
State Representative Davidson says the bill would phase out the state income tax over time and create a fund to supplement the money if the state income tax is eliminated.
We want to put a spending cap on the legislature, and we want to capture that excess in a tax reform fund, and we want to buy down our rate.
Davidson says when the state has an excess of funds, the people of Missouri should receive the money. And right now, there's not a provision in the bill to have a flat rate sales tax.
Now, that's the infrastructure of marching to 0%. How you get there faster, there's a lot of ways. You could find efficiencies in government. You could continue to economically grow out of it. You could look at other tax rates. That's not the intentionality right now.
For the legislators behind the bill, it's about helping Missouri compete on multiple levels.
Missouri not only competes against itself, so to speak, and that we're trying to make Missouri as the best place that it can be to raise a family, to start a business, to have it, find a job. But we're also competing against surrounding states. We're competing against the rest of the country. We're competing against the entire globe.
All right, let's talk about some sports now. Michael Imami joining us in tournament action over in McDonald County.
Yeah, that's right. Webb City and Mack County girls basketball both in action tonight. Coming up in sports, we're going to have all those highlights for you from a tournament that's been taking place since 1981, a historic one over at McDonald County. More results, more scores, more basketball next in sports.
This is the Robergia 4-State Sports Report with Michael Imami.
We'll start things off a little high school hoops. The McDonald County Lady Mustangs are hosting their annual Mustang Classic tournament today through December 14th. That's where we find game one of the evening. Bentonville West matched up with Webb City to kick things off, and the Wolverines 6-point first quarter lead as Reagan Cruisenberry knocks down the triple right here. She was second in scoring for Bentonville West with 10 points on the night. But Webb came firing back in the second. A little stop and pop action right here. Whitley Keith. Nice move to get the Cardinals in some rhythm, but she wasn't done just yet. Abby Sargent now controlling the floor, finds Keith on the wing, and folks, that is nothing but net. 11 points to go along with 3 buckets from beyond the arc for her in this one. Sargent was also seen dropping some dimes as well. She finished with 5 assists as she pushes the ball up the floor again for the Cardinals. Addie Burns in the corner, count it. Webb City shot an exceptional 46% from range, and Burns, that three-pointer was icing on the cake in the fourth as the Cardinals go on to take round one, 57-46. Moving over to game number 2. Lady Mustangs played host to Prairie Grove and the Tigers, and this one was also back and forth. Tigers started things off on the offensive end with Hope Kidd finding Brooklyn Stovall on the wing. There's an open 3-ball right there from the right-hand corner. Count it. She had a pair of those throughout the game. Keeping things going, who better than Kidd again? Nice move off the catch. Pretty little Euro step right here in the lane. And English as well off the window and in. She was also seen making some big shots down the stretch, and that's where the Lady Mustangs really ramped things up. Good ball pressure there by the defense. Kirsten Hopkins with the steal. Coming out of nowhere. Scoop and score in transition. She continued to shine on offense on the next possession. Some nice passing as well on the perimeter. Here's the kick out to Hopkins, and the bank is open. Off the board and in for the sophomore guard. She led the way for Mack County in a 65-50 victory. And to cap it all off, here's a look at your top 5 plays of the week.
These are the top 5 plays of the week, sponsored by Stickland & Stickland Law Firm. When sorry doesn't cut it.
At number 5, junior Rachel Nunez with the double-double on Saturday, making a ton of plays, getting the steal right here on this one. Coast to coast, right to the bucket. She finished with 20 lead-all scores and helped lead Miller to a Gem City Classic victory. At play number 4, we head to the state championship game. Blair Oaks lines up for a field goal, and Seneca's Hagen Ginger with the block. The 6'2 defensive end using his full frame to make the play right there. Seneca falls in this one, though, 38-28. Now at 3, we head to NEO. Big body Buddy throwing down the hammer. 6'7 sophomore guard was rising up left and right in the Norsemen's 9th straight victory over Tabor. They ended up taking that game 119-57. At number 2, we head to Friday night's state title game. Lamar Fairgrove, Aiden Sheet with his best game when it mattered the most. The senior racked up 122 receiving yards. Finally at 1, after being down 5, Lamar quarterback Alex Wilkerson engineers a brilliant 11-play, 72-yard drive to score the go-ahead touchdown in the final minute to win the state championship game for the Tigers. And there's a look at your top 5 plays of the week.
The top 5 plays of the week was sponsored by Stickland & Stickland Law Firm. When sorry doesn't cut it.
Fantastic stuff right there.
Yeah, very cool to see all those plays. Michael, thanks so much. We'll be right back. It is time now for our red, white, and blue salute. David Babe Sidney Logan was a private first class in the U.S. Marine Corps and served in World War II. We salute you, David Babe Sidney Logan, and we thank you for our freedom. If anyone else would like to nominate a veteran, military personnel, or a public servant like a police officer, go to our red, white, and blue salute on our website, 4stateshomepage.com. One last look at our forecast with meteorologist Brett Scott. Use some caution as you're heading out this evening.
That is true. A little bit of patchy fog out there. It should gradually erode after we see the front move through and we see breezy northerly winds push cold air in. So tomorrow morning, make sure you bundle up. We're likely going to see wind chills in the 20s. And then we've got overnight lows in the 20s tomorrow night and also Wednesday night. But we should warm up as we head through the latter parts of this week, where we'll also see the potential of rain chances.
All right, Brett, thanks so much for all the updates. That's our news for now. Have a great night.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.